Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. We are this week having again some of the sessions of the online training session for the Web of Science. And we're going to start from scratch. Today, we're going to start again with this session A1, which is aimed at people who don't know at all the Web of Science, who need to be introduced to the Web of Science. And because the first thing you do when you enter in the Web of Science is to search per keyword, this is what we're going to have a look at today, to learn how to search per keyword. Here is the program of these next 60 minutes. For the people discovering the Web of Science, I will explain what it is and what is the difference between the Web of Science and the core collection. This is very important because along the week, you will hear me talking a lot about the core collection, so it's important that you know what it is. Now briefly, just after that, we're going to see a few tips about the access to the Web of Science, because there are different options. And then we will dive into searching per keyword. This is the topic of the day, searching per keyword. We're going to learn the basics today. You will see a lot of results when you search per keyword, so we will learn how to sort those results and refine to get a more focused list of things that are interesting to you. And we will end by learning how to use the online help, because this is very helpful to have always at your fingertips a help that is constantly updated. Let's start with the Web of Science and the core collection. What is this? What is the Web of Science? What is the core collection? So here we have a drawing like a snail, just representing the Web of Science. The Web of Science is composed of different databases. We see all of them here. And in the center, at the core of the Web of Science, we have the core collection. The core collection is part of the Web of Science. This is a content that belongs to our company, Clarivate. This is a content that we select. We select journals, we select books, conference proceedings, and this content is also indexed in a very special manner that is proper to Clarivate and the core collection. Outside of the core collection, there are other databases. Some of them belong to our company. For example, Derwent here is a database specialized on patents. Zoological records is another of our databases. But we have also other content that belong to other institutions. For example, Medline, that belongs to PubMed, is also a database that is hosted in the Web of Science platform. And we have also those ones that we call regional, that are coming from different countries, different continents. So it's the result of a collaboration with other institutions. In the end, they are all hosted below the roof of the Web of Science, but in the end, we have to make a difference between the core collection, our content, the content that we select, and the content that each of the other databases is going to select and to index in a very specific manner, because depending on the specialty of the database, the content will be indexed differently. So that's the difference between the core collection at the heart of the Web of Science and the whole Web of Science. You see here the numbers in terms of journals, in terms of records. I will explain what a record is. It's a document that is indexed in a specific manner. And now we're going to dive a little bit more precisely into the core collection. I continue with the core collection, and you see here 6 citation index. What is a citation index? That is a subpart of the core collection depending on the specialty of the journal or the type of document. We see here that, for example, and those are the two oldest citation index for journals, depending if it's a journal focused on science or social science, it will be indexed in one of those two citation index. A more recent one is for Arts and Humanity Citation Index. And then we have other types of content. Books. We index the books in this one. Conference proceedings in this index. And the most recent one, that one, Emerging Sources Citation Index, is also for journals. But it's kind of a bit different. It's more recent. And there is a training around that where I explain the difference with this specific index, more recent one. You see here the number of journals that are comprised into the core collection for all of them, for everything that we select, for everything that we indexed. We index the totality of the bibliographic references. That's very important. That's one of the key items that we have from the beginning, from the creation of the Web of Science, which was called the Science Citation Index 60 years ago when it was born. We have an editorial team who is selecting the content of the core collection. This editorial team is working full-time for our company, Clarivate. They are not belonging to any editorial, and they don't even have the possibility to publish. So that's forbidden completely. We don't want any of those people to be in a situation of a conflict of interest when they have to take those decisions about whether the content is worth entering in the core collection or not. Among all those journals that we have in the core collection, we have some of them who have a journal impact factor. Not all the journals have a journal impact factor, only the journals that belong to the Science and Social Science Citation Index. And in this page, Master Journal List, you have access to the full list of journals of the core collection. This page is totally free. There is a training session also about this page. So it's public, whereas Web of Science and JCR are not public pages. Master Journalist, yes, it's a public page open to everybody where you can have more details about these journals. Public information only, which means not the impact factor in this case. Along this week training session, we will going to have a look at different platforms you have access to. Of course, we're going to start with the Web of Science, but we're going to have also a session about JCR, Journal Citation Reports. This is the platform where you have the impact factor. And there is another one that we are not going to see this week in English, but that we covered last week, that is called Essential Science Indicators. You have access to those three platforms, those three databases within the subscription, the national subscriptions of FECYT, okay? So everybody in Spain subscribing through FECYT has access to those three platforms. In addition, there are three more. Those ones are completely free to anybody in the world. It's not related to any subscription. EndNote, especially EndNote Online, is completely free. There is also the desktop version to complete the EndNote. In this case, that would be through a subscription, but EndNote Online is completely free. Babylance. Babylance is the platform where we have researchers taking care of their profiles, and the most important is the identificator, researcher ID, the unique identifier that more and more researchers need to identify their publications. This is in Babylance. And we have EndNote Click that some of you know with the old name. The old name is Copernio. Recently, Copernio became EndNote Click. This tool is to find PDFs. That's a free extension of your browser that you can install that helps you find full texts, legal copies of the full texts. And EndNote it's different because in this case is to manage your bibliographic references. So these are the tools that you have at your disposal, some that are free and other ones that are below the subscription of FECYT. About the access, I don't know if you've had some difficulties, if you've tried, if it's new from you, you have different options. The one of, I guess, the most common used options to log in into the Web of Science is through the page of Recursos Científicos de FECYT. Okay, this is the link that you have here. From the moment you go into this page, you have on the left side a WAS button, WAS from Web of Science. You just put your mouse on this circle and you will see that you will have access to the Web of Science. You probably have also this option in the page of the library at your university. I know that a vast majority of university also have this type of access in their page. So look at it and you will see. Depending if you are within the campus, at the university, or outside of the campus, you might have different types of access. The easiest one is when I am at the university, which is more and more complicated those days. In this case, you have nothing to do, which means you are in the IP range of the university and you can log in without any password or whatsoever. But when you are outside of the university, which is happening more and more often those days, you will have to identify yourself as someone of the university to be able to log in into the Web of Science. What I recommend is to create an account after your login, to use your account. And I'm going to explain in the next session how you can create your account. Why am I recommending this? You will see tomorrow some of the reasons, but one of them is related to the access. When you have an account, which means my email and my password within the Web of Science, I can log in into the Web of Science outside of my institution with no problem through the main page, Web of Knowledge. And I don't need to authentify through Chibolet or whatsoever because I have my proper account. In this case, you will see this page where you will put your email, your password, you will select FECYT, and you will be able to enter into the Web of Science. So you have those different options. And once you log in into the interface, you will have the option to choose your language. The Web of Science, the platform, is available in different languages. So this week I'm going to use English, but depending what is your mother tongue, the language you are more comfortable with, you might use the platform in Russian, Portuguese, Korean, Japanese, two sorts of Chinese, simplified and modern, and there is one more, the most recent one, which is the Arabic interface. All these languages that we see here are the results of the collaboration that we are having with other institutions, which means the other databases that we have. We have a Russian database, we have a Korean database, we have Cielo coming from Latin America. This is what explains all those languages. Every time we have a new database within the Web of Science, a new collaboration with an entity, then we add the language of this database. So now let's go to the Web of Science to see all this live. I am now logging in the Web of Science. I am using a FECYT account this week, and I am using my account today, but we'll see that more in detail tomorrow. Tomorrow you will learn how to create your account and to be able to take advantage of all the things that we have additionally with an account. This is my main page. When I log in, I can do different types of search. I have here a drop-down menu. Today we're going to do a search per topic. Here you see that I could go and use whatever other language, but I'm going to follow with English today. And at the bottom, below More Settings, I can see the citation indexes I have access to. This week, I am working with a FECYT access, which means that I am seeing what all of you should see at least when you enter the Web of Science. We see again the indexes for the journals, the one for the conference proceedings, for the books that is divided into science, social science, and the emerging sources citation index. And what do we see also? We see the coverage in terms of years, and we see that the science citation index has a coverage from 90. So uh, uh, it's very old content that we have here, more than 100 years ago, 1900. And then we have the more recent one, which is Emerging Source Citation Index, that you will see all at least from 2015. But some of them might see some difference here. You might see more content, usually, not less, more content. At least you will see this. For example, some of you will have the emerging sources from 2005, which means that when you're going to do the same search as me today, you might have more results. Okay, so if you see a different number of results, probably it's because you have access to more content through the indexes that you have here. So that's the explanation. The second thing is that it's very important. Today, we are going to use exclusively the core collection. We have here below other databases that you have access to. Today, all the exercises are going to be done with the core collection. I always start my trainings with the core collection. At the bottom, we also see the updates, how often the database is updated. It's every day from Monday to Friday. So we see the date of last Friday, it was updated, and today it's going to be updated. So tomorrow we are going to see a new date, which is the one of today. From Monday to Friday, it is updated. Let's do an exercise now. We are going to search per keyword. And by the way, before we do that exercise, we have to learn the basics. We have to learn the basic rules about learning per keyword so we are more efficient. So let's do some theory before starting with keywords. It's important. First of all, when I want to search per keywords, I'm going to search what is called a topic in the Web of Science. When I search per topic in the Web of Science, I'm going to search those keywords that I'm going to introduce in 4 different fields. Those fields are here: the title, the abstract, the author keyword, and an additional field that is called Keywords Plus. Keywords Plus is a field that is specific to the Web of Science core collection. This is something that we add when we index all the content, and those keywords are generated automatically based on the title of the bibliographic references. So author keywords and Keywords Plus, it's totally different. The ones defined by the authors and the ones generated by the artificial intelligence. The second important thing is that within the Web of Science, we have documents, we have journals written in different languages, okay? We have all those documents in different languages in the Web of Science, but they are all indexed in English in the Web of Science, which means that even if my paper written in Spanish is in the Web of Science, I'm not going to find this paper looking for it in Spanish with the Spanish title or with the Spanish keywords. It's impossible because to be indexed in the Web of Science core collection, one of the criteria is that the journal, for example, has to provide for all the content a translation to English for the title, for the abstract, and for the keywords. That's a very important criteria. So I'm always going to do a search in English, whatever is the language of the original paper. Another thing is in terms of the history of the Web of Science, at the beginning, Web of Science was simply a citation index, which means that we were only indexing the title, the authors, and the bibliographic references. So if you find old content, you're not going to see any abstract, any keywords. We started indexing abstract and keywords only from 1991. Okay, that's a huge difference also. This is related to the history of the Web of Science. That is, at the beginning, a citation index, and that follows to be a citation index. But now we have more fields. Operators, Boolean operators. We use the universal Boolean operators and, or, and not. Those are not specific to the Web of Science. They belong to any database. And we have two more operators that we call proximity operators. One that we use for the address field, that is same, and the other one that is near, that we're not going to see this week. For that, it's better to relate to perhaps one of the sessions in Spanish or to the online help that will explain how we can use those proximity operators. Truncations. We have several truncations in the Web of Science that could replace 0, 1, and more letters. The one that is most used is the asterisk. The asterisk substitutes anything. Could be 0, could be 1, could be more letters. So this is the one that is used the more often. But in the online help, you will see the explanation for those different truncations that you have, that you can use at the end of the word, that you can use at the beginning of the word or in the middle of the word. You can put that asterisk wherever you need it. Another thing is when I'm searching more than a word. I might be searching two different words, so in this case I'm going to write them, and per default the Web of Science is going to put in the middle of those two words, it's like the operator and. So it's searching two different words that might be in two different sentences. But if I'm looking for a group of words, in this case, growth hormone, I'm not looking for growth and hormone somewhere else. I am looking for growth hormone. In this case, I will put those two words within quotation marks. From the moment I'm using quotation marks, uh, this system is going to look at exactly what is in the middle of those quotation marks, which is really different from writing two words. If I'm writing those two words without the quotation mark, it's going to look at those words wherever they are in the title, in the summary, and so on. So by refining with my expression, it could be a title, it could be a phrase. With my quotation marks, I'm going to be able to do a more refined search. Synonyms. Synonyms is called lemmatization in the Web of Science, and we have a wide range of synonyms. I'm writing here the most commonly used, for example, about the way of writing, the orthography of some words that might be different in British English or in American English. We see here two examples. In this case, I don't have to worry. Whatever is the option that I'm choosing, American or British, the Web of Science is going to search to both words. Okay, so that's a simplification for all of us. We don't have to worry. It's taking into consideration the two ways of writing, color and behavior. Singular and plural, that's another topic also. Singular and plural, that might be a simple difference with the S at the end, but it can also be, in this case, two different words. The Web of Science is going to look at always the plural thing or the singular thing, whatever is the option that I'm choosing. It's going to look at both options, whether it's a different word or if it's a simple word with a S at the end or ES whatsoever. But there are other synonyms. There are words that in different places of the word or because of the history, in the end we're using one of the other, but it's the same. For example, astronauts in the United States and cosmonauts in Russia. It's history. They've always used different words, but it's exactly the same, and they keep using those different words. This type of synonyms is also into the Web of Science. So I'm giving only 3 examples. There are more, and I'm leaving, you will have access to the material, 2 links here explaining the lemmatization, this one, and the second one with a list of synonyms. I'm going to open this page. Here we have a list of synonyms, but that's not the whole list, okay? That's to give you an idea of the synonyms that we have. They are hidden, we don't see them, but the Web of Science is going to take care and always look at both options of writing this word. Because it's impossible to share that dictionary that we have in the backstage of the Web of Science, in the programming thing, the best way to know if this synonym is or not included in the list, because I cannot see the whole list, is to do both searches. This is what I'm doing all the time to make sure that I'm not missing anything. I am doing a search with one word, I am doing the search with the other word. If the two results are identical, then I got my proof. This synonym is within the Web of Science and I am not going to worry. So that's the best way to check if the synonym is or not part of the Web of Science. And now we are going to dive into the exercises. It's time to do some exercises. Let me open. Okay, now I am in the starting page of the Web of Science. We're going to do different things. Let's start, by the way, with lemmatization. You're going to see some example. We're talking a lot about immunization those days, and I'm going to write the word immunization, but on purpose, I am writing this word with the British orthography. British, that is to say that I'm using a S instead of a Z, and we're going to look at the results. I have a lot of results here. I'm going to open the most recent one. And I'm going to look at the word immunization, and I'm not finding the word immunization as I wrote it, because otherwise I would see it in yellow. It's not there, but yes, it is there. The synonym is there with the Z, the other way of writing immunization. So it's finding it. It's not putting any color. The synonyms are not colored with the yellow. We are used to the yellow. But the word is there, and probably perhaps it's in another place. If I'm doing Control F, we have immunization, immunity, it's different. Perhaps it's an synonym, by the way, I don't know. And is it in another place that in the title? No, immunization. Next one. Oh, it's immunized and immunity and immunization, I guess. Here we are. So I think it's the one that I've looked at it. I'm not sure Immunity, by the way, that's a good question. I should try immunity when I have some time to see if that's the same or not. I am not a specialist, so maybe some person with it's not at all the same, but I don't know. So that's the example that I wanted to show you about the lemmatization, how it works. It looks for the synonym, but the synonym is not appearing in the yellow color. When I am doing a search per topic, I don't care about capitals, lowercase, whatsoever. Here it's the same, okay? Capitals, lowercases, it's exactly the same. Now we are going to look for something with the quotation marks because the topic of the week is solar energy. I don't want to look at the word solar and the word energy. I want solar energy. So I'm going to write it here. It's one of the exercises that I've done this week. So it's saved somehow. Solar energy. When I am putting a string of words in the middle of quotation marks, in that case, remember that synonyms are no longer working. Lemmatization is no longer working when I'm using quotation marks. In this case, the tool is going to search exactly what I have in the quotation marks. And by the way, what I could do is use here a truncation to have perhaps solar energies in the plural. That's the idea that I'm having. So let's do this search. Solar energy, or could be something different. Search. Okay. So I have 49,000 results. And now we are going to dive a little bit more in this page. This is where I have my results. I see here the number of results that I have. And I can organize those results, sort them differently. Here they are per date, from the newest to the oldest. Let's open this one. I should see some words in yellow, the words that I've been searching. Solar energy, in this case, that's a good indicator to see the yellow part. And if I look at the other one, so in this case, it's in the abstract, again in the abstract, but could be in another place, could be in the title also. Let's have a look at this one. In this case, it's author keyword. So I'm searching in title, abstract, author keyword, and keyword plus. So we've seen the word can be in different places. I am going back to my page where I have all the results. So in terms of sorting, here I am per default when I'm doing for the first time, I have from the newest to the oldest. If I click again on that button, that's going to be sorted differently from the oldest result about solar energy. And we see the date, it's more than 100 years ago because the content is starting in 1900. So that's interesting to see how old we have some of those results where they were starting talking about solar energy. Times cited, it's a bit different. Now we are sorting the results per the number of citations they have received from the moment they were published. And we see the number here on the right side, times cited. So this document is among those 49,000, the publication that has collected the highest number of citations. It's a document of 1991. So that's another way of sorting your results. Those are the two ones that we use the more in the Web of Science. So we've done a search, but I know that I can improve that search because when I read those documents, I am finding other keywords that are a source of inspiration, and I also want to search those other keywords. Let's do 2 more tries, and then we're going to learn how to combine those searches. To go back to my search, I click in here on Web of Science or search, that's the same thing. That allows me to go back to the landing page. So I've done this search, I've been looking at the results, and I have seen that very often it's not solar energy, it's solar cells. We talk about solar cells. So let me do that search and see how many results I have. And probably I might have solar cells and solar energy in the same document. You see here I have a lot of results with solar cells. Let's see this one. We have photochemical cells, solar cells, photochemical. That's another word that I could use. Okay. So again, something related to the solar energy. And I'm going to do a third one. Search. This is photovoltaic. This is the word that I've seen the most often. Photovoltaic cells. Let me do that one. Okay, this one. Another word, photovoltaic cells. These are among the keywords that I've seen the more often when I was doing those searches. We see that sometimes they appear in the title. And I have, in this case, I have a lower number of results. So usually when I'm starting a search from scratch, when I want to build a good search, I am trying different words and I see how many results they are bringing to me. And what I can do is to combine those words. By the way, I'm coming back here because there is something that I forgot to say. Sometimes, and it was also for solar cells, I saw it very often. Sometimes there is an hyphen here, photovoltaic solar cells. In the Web of Science, the hyphen is like a space. So it's the same thing. So no problem whether you write the hyphen or a space, it's the same. It's going to read the same in the Web of Science. Now let's go to another place, search history. When I go to this place, you're going to see search history. It's what I've done so far in the Web of Science. This is something that is temporary in the Web of Science. If I log out of the Web of Science, I'm going to lose my search history. And tomorrow when I log in, I'm going to start from scratch. Okay, so my search history is related to the session I've just opened, I'm working with. From the moment I log out, I lose this. It's here, it helps because I'm looking for a good search. I've tried different words and now I would like to combine them. And one of the way, instead of writing the whole thing in my search, I could take advantage here. I've done solar energy, solar cells, photovoltaic. I'm going to select those three. I have this option here. And I'm going to combine them with the OR because I want all those results without any duplicates. And let's see how many results that's going to bring me. I want the combination of solar energy or solar cells or photovoltaic cells. And I'm combining with the OR. And it's telling me, you see here it's written, I am combining the search number 2 or the search number 3 or the search number 4. And it's bringing 200,000 results. Okay, here we are. So now I have these full list of results and I could keep adding new things. So I remind that this search that I've done with the operators or, it's the same as if I'm writing here solar energy, oops, and I had used the truncation in this case, or solar cells, and I'm going to put the hyphen here because it's the same, or, okay, it's the same what I've done. I could, in the end, I'm going to write complicated searches, but I have to try at the beginning. So it's the same as doing this search. Solar energy, solar cell, photovoltaic cells. I'm going to search and it's the same. I think I wrote it exactly the same way. Yeah, so we go to exactly the same number of results. Now let's have a look at the advanced search before we dive into the refine. So we've seen here that when we look at a keyword with the topic, I'm looking for this keyword in 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's no other keyword in this case. 4 different spaces. I can build very complicated searches thanks to the field tags. I'm going to show you where those field tags are. Web of Science, Advanced Search. Okay. In the advanced search, you see here it's much more comfortable because I have a huge space here where I can write a search, limited to, I guess, 50 Boolean operators and 6,000 letters. What I'm using here, it's the tags of each of the fields. And I have the option to search again for the topic, it's TS. But if I'm looking at a word in the title, I could write TI equal to, or if I'm only looking at the author keyword, that's going to be AK equal to, and in this case, and I can put between brackets the word that I'm going to look for example, solar energy, and I should write also this if I want exactly this word. And this is the place, advanced search, where I'm going to write very long searches after I have tried different fields combinations. Today we're going only to talk about topics, but there are more fields that you can take advantage of. The vast majority of them are in the drop-down menu of the basic search, but some are not. They are only here, and we have those field tags here that we can take advantage of. In terms of sorting, we're going back because we're not going to do it this way. I just want you to know that it exists. We have again here the Boolean operators and the field tags. When I'm doing a very long search, this is where I'm going to write it in the advanced. I am going back to my list of results because now we are going to have a look at, let me go back to search history. I'm not going to write it several times, that's enough. I can go to my search history as often as I want, as long as I don't leave the Web of Science session. Now let's have a look at more ways of sorting your lists. It's a very long list. We've seen date, we've seen time cited. There are 2 more. Usage count. Usage count is different. Usage count, we are counting the usage. What is the usage? It's the fact that around the world we have thousands and thousands of users, and we are having a look at how many times they've exported this record, looked at the full text, exported to EndNote or saved in a marked list, which means they are interested in this paper and they are doing something with this paper, either looking at the full text or exporting. This is what we call usage. And we are counting this usage, and you see here there are two time range from the last 180 days or since 2013. And you see here the usage. So that's different from the time cited. Time cited is something official. It has been cited in a paper that was published afterwards, and usage, it's kind of the interest of those people. And I think the usage is very interesting to observe, especially at the beginning when a paper is new. Before it accumulates citation, it takes months to accumulate citations. But if we see a very huge usage of this paper, means some people are interested by this paper. And if they have exported this paper, saved it paper, looked for the PDF, probably they are going to cite it at some point. So that can give me some idea of what is going to happen in the future. If they're using it, this usage is probably going to be transformed into citations. When it's an old paper, which is the case here, they keep using it a lot, which means that probably this paper is going to keep accumulating citation. It's not the end. It's still interesting nowadays because we see people using it. Still interesting. So that's one of the things that we have here in the usage count. Relevance, in this case, it's a bit different again. We have behind relevance kind of an algorithm, artificial intelligence, and to simplify this algorithm, in depending on what I've been looking at, the words, for example, keywords in this case, depending on where those keywords are, how often those keywords are indexed, it's going to organize those results per relevance. So usually I'm not using the relevance field when I'm searching per keyword, but when I'm doing an advanced search and when I'm looking to the related records, in this case, yes, I find it more relevant to use the relevance field. But you know it exists. We have 4 different ways to organize my results. The most used are date and times cited. Filters. Filters are on the left here in the gray bar. You can, after you've done a search, you can refine your list of results and then define a more precise search. You have filters here. Let's, for example, refine. I only want the recent papers about solar energy. I have all these years below this button. Here I have only the top 5. Well, the 5 most recent, I should say. But there are more years. If I'm going to more options, we're going to see again those 100 years. This is the oldest one. Let's say that I want the papers of the 5 last years. I'm going to select that range. Okay, and I'm going to refine. Oops. Here. Okay. I have now refined. Here it's reminding me what I have done, the search, and then the refine. I will keep refining. I have different types of documents and I want to refine today. I only want articles and reviews. Let's have a look at all the types of documents I have so you learn that there are a lot of types of documents. You see here like a sample of them. We have books. It's the totality. When we say we index the cover to cover, we index everything that is inside a journal. And sometimes there are letters, and sometimes there are more than that. Some retractions here we see also. So there's a lot of things. We index the totality, and then I decide what are the items that I want to use today. For example, I'm going to refine per article and reviews. Those are the types of documents the most commonly used. And I'm going to take advantage. There is one here that is interesting that is called early access. What is early access? In the Web of Science, we are collaborating with more and more journals, which means that those journals very often they provide to us their content before this content has an issue and a volume and a number of pages. It already has a DOI, an identificator, an internet identificator, but it's not yet published. It's not yet assigned to one of the issues. In this case, this content is tagged as early access. And from the moment this content is available in the Web of Science, in early access, it's there. It can already start accumulating citation. It's public. It can be read. It can be used. So from the moment it's there, it's available, it's public, and it can be cited. When the journal is going to assign a volume, an issue to that document, we're going to update that document and it will keep adding the citation. It's not lost, it's just an update of the record with the new information, the volume, the issue, and the pages. Let's refine, we're going to have all this. So sometimes we see a lot of early access, and we see in this case, sometimes it's not early access. We see here there is already a volume and an issue, so it's not considered early access, although it's strange, but it's not. It's already content from February 2021, but in this case it has already a volume and an issue. This is also part of the collaboration with some journals that are bringing the content as early as possible into the Web of Science so it can be used and cited. So the difference is between the early access and what I'm seeing right here, which is you'll see not a type of document early access. It's an article, it's not early access. It's this one has already a volume and an issue and the number of pages. So that's the main difference. Okay, so we've done several searches. We've learned that we can sort our results here with those different options that we have at the top. My results are in different pages. I have 10 results per page. I can navigate through the page with those arrows or writing the number of pages that I want to go here. That's another option. And we have the filters on that side and many more filters that we will see in following training sessions. The filters are on the left. Let me end with the last one related with the language, because it's something that a lot of people ignore about the language. There is a lot of confusion. There are more filters here at the bottom. Let me go back. We launch this page. In View All Options, I have more filters hidden here. And one of those filters is Language. Let's see all the options for the languages. And the vast majority of content is in English, but you see that for solar energy in the recent years, because I have refined here per years, per document type, it's reminding me what I've done here. I have content in other languages, but all this content is indexed in English. Do I have something in Spanish? Yes, I have 91 documents in Spanish. Let's have a look at those ones. I'm going to refine. And I see the titles of the journals in Spanish. They might come from different continents, but they are all indexed in English, okay? Which means the original language of this paper, of this journal, is Spanish. We see authors in this case is coming from Latin. CLO is very important. And this content is in the Web of Science is always, always, always indexed in English. That's part of the criteria. If you want to be part of the core collection, you have to provide a translation of the title, the abstract, and the keywords. But if I'm looking at, I have access here to the full text. If I'm looking at the full text, it's going to be in Spanish. This is the original language. So that's very important to understand that I am always going to search in English. So we've done all the exercises that I wanted to do today. And let me go to, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Yes, now I am in my presentation. And we are arriving at the end. It's important that we learn how to use the online help because there is no manual. It's not worth doing a manual because things are changing constantly. Every month we would have to do another manual. You have, if you have any doubt, the online help to find answers to your questions if you don't know how to do something. Let's learn how to use the online help. Where is the online help? At the top. At the top of this button help, you have the online help. You have also the training portal that I recommend, especially for English speaking people. You have a lot of content. Everything is in English in there. And you have access to the customer support if you're having any difficulty, whether it's technical. And below this button, it's the same as writing to this email. Okay, let's do it. Let's have a look at the online help. At the top, help, Web of Science help. Depending on the page where I am, when I'm clicking to the help, it brings me to you are in a full record. What do you want to know about this full record? Do you have any doubt about what is indexed? Let's do it again from another page. Now I'm going to a search. When I am on a search and I'm going to the help, basic search. What is the question that you have about basic search? About the search rules, about the operators, search rules. Let's have a look. I want to learn how to search. Here are the operators that you have. This is how they work. Here are the truncations, the wildcards that you have. 3 wildcards. Want to know more? Yes, I want to know the difference between those 3 wildcards. The asterisk, the question mark, and the dollar. You see, there is a difference. So you have all this in the online help. The thing is, when you're looking for something and it's not exactly the page you're looking for, I am going to the index, content index, and then I have the whole thing. And I can search, for example, lemmatization. Lemmatization, it's L. It's at the bottom of the page. Lemmatization search rules. And I guess I have another one at the top. Ah, no, it's M. Okay. Lemmatization search rules. L. So it brings me to lemmatization. I'm going back. Boolean operators, truncations, keyword plus. Tell me more about keyword plus. How many keyword plus? So here it explains. Keyword plus, it's at the top of the page. So it's sorted per alphabetical order. It's coming back, okay. And you can have a look here. What am I looking for? It's alphabetical order. If I'm not sure, I'm not finding that word, I remind you about that tip, this internet tip. It's Control F. When I click Control F, there is a small window that appears at the top when I am with Chrome or at the bottom when I am with Firefox. Truncations, invalid left truncation. It's also wildcard. Is there another one with truncation? Let me have a look. Yes, truncations. And again, truncations. I have those 3, I guess. Yes, those 3. Truncations. It's there. Wildcards. Also, synonym. Okay, so you have all this in the index, you search in the index, and then you navigate from a page to the other because everything is in there. This is a page that I'm often using because there are things that I don't remember. I cannot learn all this by heart. And there are things that I don't know yet. So sometimes I'm still discovering new things. I'm still having new questions. And the first thing that I'm doing is that I'm going to the online help. So we are arriving at the end of this training. Um, we're going to have another session tomorrow, but if you have any question, if you're new to the Web of Science, what is the first point of contact? The first point of contact has to be always your library. Whether it's the problem that you're having with the access might be different in a university or in the other, so it's better if you contact your library. How it works, we've seen some things today, we're going to continue tomorrow, but we learn as we do things. When you start experimenting, trying, searching, you have doubts. You have the online help, but in your library, you also have experts, especially if you've never done any search with any database. It's important that you learn the methodology of searching. It's important that you master Boolean operators and that you know how to build a search strategy. And you're going to learn all this in your library. From the moment you know all the basics about methodology of searching to build an efficient strategy, what you're going to learn, you're going to be able to apply it to the Web of Science and any other database. You can also apply it in Google. I'm not saying Google Scholar, even in Google. Years ago, that the person who told me, who explained to me how to do very efficient search in Google was a librarian. She told me about truncations. She told me that I could even build alerts. So we have the experts in the library. Now it's time for the questions. It's time to open the chat, to write your questions, and we're going there right now.